You sick and tired of paying carbon tax? Well, this Canadian premier says they got a plan to end it all. Well, not really. Let's get into it. Perpetually flatulent, cheesecake-loving doughboy Doug Ford is back in the news saying he's going to put a referendum on carbon tax. What, like a direct democracy? He's going to let the people decide? No, we're definitely not going to the polls on this one.
Next week, our government will introduce legislation to protect people in Ontario from the high cost of any future carbon tax. If passed, this new legislation will require future provincial governments to hold a referendum before imposing a carbon pricing scheme.
Preventing future carbon taxation is not a plan to help Ontarians. All this is a proposed bill to ask voters if they're okay with being taxed further in the future. It's not pulling anything back. Our fate in that regard was sealed when Stephen Harper signed us on to the Paris Climate Accord and the United Nations Sustainable Development Agenda. There is no end to carbon pricing. It's a shell game. They say they're going to get rid of the carbon tax. They're going to replace it with something else. Canadian citizens are going to continue to pay for global polluters for the rest of our foreseeable future. It's just a scheme to empty your pocketbooks and force further taxpayer dependency on the government. Taxation without representation is theft, and the federal and provincial governments are completely okay going along with this extortion scheme. In fact, I find it very funny if you can't notice the pattern recognition here. This is no more than the same tactic we've seen used over the last 3 years, the old squeeze and release, because that chain, when it's choking on you, it feels real uncomfortable. It gets released and you feel a little bit better. You're like, this ain't so bad. But when you try to go run off and look for the freedom that you thought you had in this country, you come to an abrupt stop at the end of the rope. Don't let these politicians piss on your shoe and tell you it's raining. They're all in this together. Thanks for watching, guys. That's the end of this one. Do me a favor, click that follow button, share this out to a couple friends. Let's get this going on the FYP. Thanks for joining. Have a great day.